4th of July. As you can see, we're dressed up in red, white, and blue.
Since there aren't any episodes of MLP dealing with patriotic holidays, we decided that the best thing to do is review an episode dealing with equestrian history. And sure enough, today's episode, Family Appreciation Day, says a lot about the founding of Ponyville. Let's do this.
So we begin with Granny Smith running around like a lunatic, screaming. Granny Smith, you're not Paul Revere.
Apparently, Apple Bloom is going to help Granny Smith make jam from a magical fruit called the Zap Apple.
This is what it looks like, and it's delicious.
But first, she has to sweep the floor. Meanwhile, the Zap Apple trees get their leaves with some really cool animation effects and music.
Of course, Snobby Diamond Tiara has to come to the farm and make fun of Apple Bloom. Diamond Tiara, shut up. You're not as powerful as the president.
Meet Diamond Tiara. She's a local bully and just loves to pick on Apple Bloom, along with the rest of the CMC. And, like most obnoxious characters, they've been spoiled by a rich father. Filthy Rich here always buys up the first 100 jars of Zap Apple Jam to sell in his business. And while he negotiates with the apples, Diamond Tiara makes fun of Apple Bloom's grandma for acting silly and forgetting things.
Make Zap Apple Jam!
Granny Smith, you're an awful singer. Let's hope they don't pick her to sing the national anthem at this year's fireworks display.
Granny Smith and Apple Bloom are out shopping. They go up to a pot stand, and Granny Smith, out of nowhere, starts biting one of the pans with her false teeth, causing them to come out. And then, while they collect honey, she starts talking to bees.
Once again, Granny Smith is embarrassing Apple Bloom. Granny, take a hint!
When I first saw this episode, I was really not into these scenes. It felt like they were making Granny Smith act uncharacteristically weird just for the sake of their storyline. But the episode actually does explain everything she does. But we'll get there when we get there.
So Granny Smith continuously embarrasses Apple Bloom, and it feels like they've exaggerated her age a lot.
Diamond Tiara and her partner in crime Silver Spoon come by and start laughing at Apple Bloom, making her even more upset. The next day, Apple Bloom is in her classroom being bored to tears by Filthy Rich's awful speech.
Cheerily assigns Apple Bloom to bring in Granny Smith for Family Appreciation Day. Cheerily, you don't know what you're getting Apple Bloom into. Granny Smith is about as old as George Washington.
Back at the apple farm, a migration of birds hovers over the Zap Apple field, causing the trees to sprout flowers. The CMC meet in their clubhouse to figure out a way to postpone Apple Bloom's presentation.
Naturally, they all fail.
First, they try acting sick, but Granny Smith sees through their tricks, and it looks as though she's enlisting the jam jars and the Continental Army.
So a meteor shower thing happened at the orchard, and made a bunch of apples appear. Gray ones, that. Those meteors are a lot like fireworks. 4th of July fireworks!
The CMC try to harvest the apples early, but the trees electrocute them and fling them into the pigsty, so they call Cheerily over for a meeting with Granny Smith.
Her cutie mark is different. For a split-second moment, it's 3 umbrellas instead of 3 flowers. I caught the mistake.
Apple Bloom and her friends puppeteer Granny Smith while she sleeps and try to tell Cheerily that she won't be able to make Monday's presentation, but their shenanigans wake up Granny Smith by accident, and she says she'd love to come to the school on Monday.
I wouldn't miss it for all the tea and candy law.
Let's hope that tea isn't taxed.
So the Zap Apples have now turned rainbowy. Rainbow rocks, right? So the CMC made a trick note to get Granny Smith away from them.
They've sent her on the 8 a.m. train to visit her Uncle Apple Strudel, but as it turns out, Uncle Apple Strudel was on that train, and they both head to Apple Bloom's class.
The embarrassment has been doubled!
Granny Smith proceeds to tell the class about her early life, when there was no Ponyville.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hold up. So Granny Smith is like one of the founding fathers? Mothers?
Or, more accurately, Granny Smith and her family were pilgrim ponies. Perhaps we should have saved this one for Thanksgiving.
So Princess Celestia is in Canterlot, but Granny Smith and her family have just arrived. Princess Celestia gave them land to plant their seeds on, just like how America started.
Of course, the food takes time to grow, and so Granny Smith, in an attempt to find more food, heads into the danger of the everfree forest. Sure enough, she discovers a Zap Apple tree.
She gets chased by timberwolves out of the forest, but she did have seeds. So they planted them, and before they knew it, they had full-grown trees. But the settlers wish they had that years backwards.
And yes, these trees did take literally a split second to grow. Granny Smith paid strict attention to the natural signs that took place whenever the Zap Apples grew. Since these fruits are magic, they need a very special treatment in order to be properly cooked. So every strange thing that Granny Smith did throughout the episode was just another step in preparing the Zap Apples. Talking to the jars and bees, singing to water, it was all explained. This connection blew my mind the first time I saw it. Granny Smith wasn't acting uncharacteristically weird, she was actually the smartest one there. and soon ponies from all across Equestria came to try the Zap Apple Jam, and Ponyville was born.
So Granny Smith finishes her story, proving that she's not some kooky old lady. In the end, Diamond Tiara has to help with the next harvest. So that was our episode. My opinion on this episode is that it's pretty good, bit boring, but the end sums it up. I give it about a 3 out of 5.
This is one of those episodes that I didn't really like until the end. As I said, it felt like for the majority of it, they were exaggerating Granny Smith's weirdness just to prove a point. But in the end, they actually tied it together nicely. The best part of this episode is obviously Granny Smith's story, but a close second would be all the interesting visuals. I give this a 4.3 out of 5.
Thanks for watching, see you next video, and happy 4th!
We traveled the road of generations, joined by